So I'm going to be doing something a bit different. Not doing this one live.
The lair of the blind ones. Little is known of this mysterious race. Legends tell of ghostly figures emerging at night from underground and dragging hapless victims to their doom. Though they do not possess the power of sight, the blind ones are hardly helpless. They can hear the beat of a heart and smell the blood of an intruder from a great distance. Attacking with primitive brutality and a lust for warm blood, they have lived for countless centuries deep beneath the surface of the Lost Land. Your mission objectives are as follows. Seal 3 of thermal vents, trapping the blind ones beneath tons of rock. Locate the energy totem and defend it at all costs.
So I'm not doing this one live. This is post-commentary, and a lot of it boiled down to two things. A, I don't particularly think my live commentary is all that great, and B, I just ran out of stuff to talk about. And with this level in particular, there was a lot of sighing going on. This is probably this one, and I've already recorded level 5 after this. And the thing that the conclusion I came to is just, I did not want when we get to level 5, I may do some editing to clean it up. There's a lot of reverting to previous save states. And this is the beginning of it, whenever I start to hit the quick load button. Throughout the game, I've been quick saving here and there, and it's usually just to play it safe, but for starting here, at this difficulty, it actually starts to become a problem, just how much damage enemies can do, seemingly instantaneously. The archers that you saw in that little introduction video, if they hit you, that's 30 health points gone. They can kill you in 3 hits. And when you're on narrow corridors, and you have to be, or narrow, not corridors, but narrow little bridges, you really can't afford to just keep getting hit by those things. So, this level is what I'll call the start of frustrations with the difficulty that I chose. And I don't regret that. But what I am going to say is, if there's anything I've noticed about playing games on hard difficulty, is that you start to see more problems in its design, or more the little things you start to notice more when you throw the difficulty up. And the things that I started to kind of not really like about some of this game's facets are just, good lord, enemies are predicated on your ability to just instant kill them the moment you see them. And I am not the best at that, as has been clearly demonstrated. Boy, I'm not looking forward to level 4. This level, on the other hand, this level's alright. I didn't like it when I was going through it, but, and you know, they say hindsight's 20/20. That ricochet shot actually managed to hit the switch on the other side. It's quite impressive, even though I wasn't attempting to do that. But the hindsight factor is that I actually do like the linearity of this level. You're essentially just going through a mountain, a cliffside passage, if you will, through various tunnels that the blind ones have dug out for themselves, and it doesn't make any sense at all that they can sense your heartbeat, and they're using long-range bows, even though they're blind. Are you serious? Oh, it's just, and there it is. There's your example. One shot, 30 health points. And that's going to be the first quick load. And it took me a second to realize just how much damage he did. That was why I hit the quick load button. I went, jeez! Are you serious? Aye, they are. So, get used to two things. I know I said at the very beginning, and this is another, like I said, hindsight's 2020 thing. I said get used to seeing the bow. I have not used the bow except for minor, very, very short excursions with the bow since level 1. And briefly in level 3 I used it. What you should actually get used to seeing from here on out is charge rifle, charge dart rifle. This is your upgrade to the tranquilizer, and it is fantastic. It is also completely busted, and I like that it's busted. It doesn't work on everything, but the things it does work on, it just locks them in place, which lets you immediately follow up with a headshot. Oh, it's fantastic, but like I said, it completely trivializes a lot of the aspects of the game. These enemies, for instance, I should be just stunning them with the charge rifle, but I'm not. And I think I've come up with a new theme for this LP, and that is waning interest. I started this so happy to be playing Turok 2. And I was talking about I'm setting up for the cerebral bore, and hey, it's gonna be fun when we get that, and then it is gonna be fun when you get it. But I had completely forgotten about 90% of the game. And it reminded me in a way of the exact same feeling I had when playing Turok 1. Where I started off and I was saying, hey, I played this when I was a kid, and it's pretty fun, and then as I kept going, oh, this is really boring, actually. To me, I need to stress that. And I've had a diatribe already about my falling out with shooters. It's me and shooters, really. But I got really bored with Turok 1, and kind of the same thing started happening with this. But part of that boredom stemmed from, I have memories of my experience with the game, obviously. It's what they call a formative experience. When you experience something in your youth and it imprints on you. And then revisiting it, unlike, I see a lot of people, they have an unrealistic admiration of something. For me, it's an unrealistic dissatisfaction with it. Because what do I actually remember about Turok 2? Here's what I remember about it. I remember playing it when I was a preteen. I remember the cerebral bore, and I remember absolutely nothing else about it. And I was thinking, is that unique to me? Or is that kind of the experience everyone else has had? Where everyone knows this game for one weapon. They know it for one thing. And everything else is just kind of a blur. It's similar in a way to the Call of Cthulhu game. Which I've also played, and I'm thinking about doing for the channel. Because, oh man, that's a buggy mess. But it's a similar thing in that people say, oh, that game's a classic! And when asked to describe why it's a classic, they go, oh, it brings, the Cthulhu mythos to life, and there's a Shoggoth, and you go to Innsmouth, and it's fully realized, and then you actually play the game. And it's a buggy, broken, barely functional mess. Now, that's not to say Turok 2 is a buggy, broken, almost non-functional mess. But it has that same thing of when you actually sit down and play it, at least me. Obviously, if you love this game, I could not be more happy for you. I watched a speedrun of this game, and the guy speedrunning it was loving every second of it. And that made me happy. Which is a weird thing about me, is that if anything, I enjoy seeing other people be happy. That makes me happy. Figure that one out, but it's the way I am. But he loved it. There was another video I saw someone playing Turok 1, and they were having a blast with it, and oh, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. I wish I had that same feeling, but I don't. As far as I am with Turok 2, going through it, I'm gonna do it because I started this. It's not gonna be live commentary anymore because again, I started sighing. I would just stop talking and I would just sigh. An enemy hits me, quick load, come back up. that would be your commentary. And here we're, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I picked up the feather. And this was an aspect that when I was doing practice runs, this really frustrated me with the layout of this level, is that you get the feather, and to get to the talisman, you have to warp back to the beginning. Which I suppose, in a way, it's reusing parts of the level, and that's efficient design. It's backtracking, but it's the kind that's kind of good backtracking to try and define or establish what I believe good backtracking to be or take the form of. It should be backtracking that rewards the player for knowledge of the level. If you feel like, oh, me backtracking, I know about a certain thing to go back to, I know how the level is laid out, I'm rewarded for that, that's good backtracking. And that's your Metroidvania style backtracking, that's your Resident Evil backtracking. It doesn't feel laborious because it's the inherent reward is mastery of mastery of navigation. That's the good kind. And here, I happen to know about this just because I did it. But how many practice runs did I have? About 4 or 5 before I finally nailed it down. And it was not because of the talisman and the eagle feather. It was actually because of the first vent chamber that you have to blow up. That's good backtracking, if my rambling made any sense there. But the other thing, the other reason I decided to just no longer do live commentary is that I wound up eating a lot of time. For example, I'm staring at the full recording right now, and there's only going to be 4 parts to this level. And level 1 took up, 5 episodes, 5 15-minute or 10 to 15-minute chunks. This one I've split up into 4, with the 4th one being the longest because it has there's a boss fight at the end. Finally, a boss fight at the end of this level. And that's another part of it, is just I don't want to artificially inflate the number of episodes that an LP takes with my useless banter. So instead of that, we're doing post-com from here on out, and it's going to all be solid, just beeline progression, showing as much of the game off as I can, within reason. The Heart of Fire talisman makes you immune to lava, and this time, it actually works correctly. You can go in all lava. At least from what I've experienced. All of the lava that I have found, you can enter it even if there's no plaque next to it. Which, in stark contrast to the Breath of Life, that still bugs me. This Native American spirit actually knew what the talisman did. And told you the truth. All of this is just a backtrack. Back to the second checkpoint portal. But we do finally get the cerebral bore in this level, and yes, it will see extensive use. And I'm not gonna say anything about it. I hope you enjoy it. If you can tell by the tone of my voice how I feel, well, please enjoy. It is a sadistic idea for a weapon, and it is also completely absurd. I love that part about it, the absurdity.
Ammo granted.
See you next time.
Health granted.